Isaiah, I've covered you for, about 5-6 years now,
Yep.
and not every highly rated recruit becomes a face of a program. And like now you're here with Big Ten Media Days with the Brown brothers, and Quan Martin is one of the faces of the program. How did you keep, live up to that? How were you able to keep on the right path to have success on the field and off the field? Obviously, is part of the reason you're here too.
So honestly, it was tough. It was moments early on where I honestly felt like giving up was probably the best option. But luckily, I had people in my corner who, that wasn't an option, and people like Coach Corey, people like my therapist James Warren, people like Jason Epperson, and then my family back home, just knowing like, man, we could see better days. They just kept me working hard. And honestly, that's honestly what it was. I just through everything, the ups, the downs, I just kept my head down, kept working, and like off the field, just trying to be a better human being. That was when I made my biggest step, my most growth is when it became bigger than football. I wanted to be a better person. I wanted to stand for something and honestly like show my teammates like a better way. Outside of the football field. And once I did that, it made football easier. It helped my confidence, all that. So I really I kept working hard, and then now we're here, and now it's even more work to be put in.
What are some of the struggles, Isaiah, that you went through? Like, what were some of those? You said ups and downs. Like, you've had some ups on the field that people have seen, but I know mental health is a big part. You talked about having a therapist. Like, what were some of those ups and downs you had to go through?
For me personally, I came in, and I probably needed this on top of the world. As much as like I'm not really all this like cocky person, and I don't come off like that, man. Like being in high school, being a big time recruit, coming to Illinois, I'm like, I'm about to come here start. Man, I'm trying to win the Heisman my freshman year, and I always put my identity in like winning and being the guy. So when I wasn't the guy no more, it was like, who am I? And that's where I say I had to find myself outside of the field, because I always put my identity in football. That's who I was. Like as a kid, I'm like, bro, I'm a football player, and I'm that guy. When I step on the football field, bro, I'm the best player. And when I wasn't the best player anymore, it was like, bro, who am I? So I went into a shell, and it was like, bro, like I got to get myself out of this. And and I just constantly worked. It was hard, honestly, but as Coach C always tells me, like, hey, don't nobody feel sorry for you. We all go through things, so like I had to find a way out of it. And I just worked, and I just kept like now I'm still seeking for knowledge. I'm still trying to learn more about myself, learn more about others, learn more about football, and that's just been like one of the biggest things.
What'd you find? Who are you outside of football?
I'm a family guy. I'm a man of faith. I believe in Jesus Christ. And then like, man, I'm just always eager to learn, like about anything, about people. And I feel like that's like one of my greatest. And then I also learned that I'm a thinker, and sometimes this could be good and bad, because sometimes you have to think things out, and that helps me. But then sometimes like you just gotta go, and sometimes like I overthink certain things that I don't need to like really think about, and that showed up on the field. Like sometimes I'm like, I noticed this a lot when I was at quarterback. Like later on, or like looking back at it, I could be like, when I played quarterback, bro, I was just thinking too much. Bro, it was like I knew I could do it, but it was like, bro, I gotta do this perfect. I do the perfect 3-step drop. I gotta throw it just like this. I gotta throw it how they want me to throw it. Or, man, I don't want to be labeled as a running quarterback, so I'm not gonna run as much. I'm gonna just try to, sit in the pocket like, coach, like let me throw the ball more. And I was just always overthinking. So, like now I'm learning like how to control that more. Like I don't think it's a bad thing that I'm a thinker, but just learning in certain situations, like I just gotta go.
I think that's what people don't talk about, is when you're a 4-star, 5-star guy, and like you've always been that. Like you've always been the person that everyone looked to. And when you came to Illinois, it's like, him, like we have him, like one, like that. Is there pressure there, or like a weight, like where Illinois was at the time you committed? I think a lot of people look to you like he's going to change it all. Like that's going to be the guy, and that feels like a lot to wear when you're 17, 18 years old.
Yeah, and like honestly, it's been like that since I was a kid. Since I was 7 years old, maybe like most definitely 7. It was like you the big bro. Like everybody, they're my age. We all the same age. Like you big bro. You make sure everybody good. You make sure everything right. So honestly, when I got to high school, it was the same way. Like, bro, you about to help us change this around, and I did. You know, and it wasn't just me. Like, of course, like it takes a team. It don't take one person to change something around. But honestly, as a kid, that's what it felt like. Mm-hmm. But like now, like looking, so when I got to college, it was like I'm gonna do it again. But it didn't happen like that, and I felt like, honestly, now I feel like certain things happen in our life to like, so we could build our character, so we could become, like all my life I'm like, bro, head high. Mm-hmm. Not like you probably wouldn't think that, but honestly, like I just like, bro, I could change. I'm gonna change this program around. And when it didn't happen, it was like, dang, bro, I had to like really look in the mirror. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, like a lot of the biggest thing I take from that is just like life lessons. Like I feel like a lot of times like we go through stuff in life just so like we could build our character. It's like about who we become. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like all that stuff that happened early on, like I kind of needed that. You know what I'm saying? To really like humble me and you know, set me on a better path, man.
So after all that introspection, you come out, you know, you have a good year last year. You seem to have comfort now with who you are, what you are to this team. Like, how do you come out of that? Like, how do you feel now going into your 4th year here at Illinois?
Man,
how have you changed?
I feel good. I feel confident. I feel like I'm in a better position to lead. You know, now it's just getting the rest of the guys, like leading the rest of the guys. But yeah, I feel confident. I'm excited for sure. Just to go play football again. 'Cause it's fun. It's a game, and I didn't have fun the last few years, honestly. Yeah. But now it's honestly becoming fun again, and I'm honestly like more relaxed going into this season. You know, man, it's a great feeling. Like
you look eager right to start this thing.
Yeah, I'm eager. Yeah.
So obviously you're a very important part of this team. You got a new coordinator. Just how do you feel? Like, what is your role on this team as one of the playmakers?
First and foremost, I feel like one of my roles on this team is to be a leader, to be like one of the guys, to lead by example. But also sometimes I have to start to lead more vocally. Be that guy. Also, be a guy who make plays, a consistent guy. That's one of the biggest things, consistency. Be one of them guys. Every time I touch the field, my guys can depend on me. Like, if anything, we know we could give Isaiah the ball and he'll make a play. And I feel like that's the next step for me, just consistency. Game in, game out, every practice, just being consistent, showing up, being the same guy, same energy. And actually, Coach McDonald, he actually gave me – so, you know, we do summer projects, and that was one of my summer projects, like reading on consistency. And one of the things I learned is, for me, sometimes to be consistent in sports, like I got to be consistent in my life too, like outside of sports. So, like, getting better sleep, that's one thing I'm bad at, honestly. Like, I probably be going off 4 hours of sleep, 3 hours sometimes.
You guys are the same person. You and Werner.
Like, I'll literally like just be up late doing nothing. Like I go work out and then come back home, do some homework, don't go to sleep till 12, 1 o'clock. And, you know, I got through it, but I noticed a lot of times last year, like, I go into meetings tired, sleepy. So, like, this next season, that's one of my biggest challenges, like, getting more sleep, eating better. Like, the little things that I kind of, like, took for granted. I was like, bro, if you're good at football, you're good at football. But eventually, like, I feel like a lot of that stuff catch up to you. Not saying you can't do it because, I mean, there's a lot of guys that do it, but you know, I want to be one of them guys that, you know, do the little things right too.
Take me. I know we talked. It's old news now. You moving to receiver, but take me into the conversation. Like, were there nerves? Or like, I don't know. Like, I've been because you were a quarterback your whole life. Like, it meant a lot to you. Were there nerves? And like, has it been everything you thought it was going to be over the last 12 months?
Honestly, the conversation, it was a lot of nerves. I'm like, bro, I feel like I could do something special at quarterback here. But another side of me was like, bro, this probably, like, something inside of me was like, bro, this probably the best thing for you is just to switch, give it a try. And then going into my first practice, I was like, bro, I'm going to just give it my all, see how it go. And then after my first practice, I knew, honestly. But before, like, when we was in the meeting room, I'm like, Coach, I don't know. Like, I'll try it, but I was like, honestly, I don't know if I want to do it. But after that first practice, like, my teammates helped me a lot, like, with the encouragement. But after my first practice, I'm like, bro, I have to do this. Like, this is probably the best thing for me. And then after that, you know, we here today.
We heard it was a pretty good first practice. How do you know? Like, what's the feeling when you're like, I've got this. Like, this is what I've got to do. Do you remember what went over your body or in your mind when you knew?
Honestly, I had never did receiver drills, none of that in the past, 2-3 years. My senior year of high school, I didn't do receiver drills. Like my sophomore or junior year, then was times where I would do camps as a receiver, but I trained as a receiver. Sometimes like I go mess around, do one-on-ones, or like do some drills with the guys, just like messing around. But I never really trained as a receiver as much. Like once I hit my junior year, freshman and sophomore year, I did a lot because that's where I was getting most of my offers. But my junior year, when school started looking at me at quarterback, I was like, that's what I want to do. Like I'm done training as a receiver. So then my first practice, it was just natural. I'm like, bro, I ain't did this stuff in like years, and it's like, bro, it just came natural. Like I was just doing stuff without thinking about it, and it like I went to go watch the film. I'm watching the film. I'm like, cause we was done with spring ball, so this was like one of my last days before I left to go back home, and I'm just watching the film. I'm like, bro, this actually like looks good. And then like from that moment on, I just kind of knew. I'm like, bro, like this comes natural to me. Now and then that's where it comes back to overthinking. And then I go into summer and I just start overthinking. Like, bro, it's natural. Like, just do it. And but that's something like that I'm better at now than where I was. But yeah, like my first few practices where I wasn't thinking, I ain't really know nothing, it just came natural.
Well, there's a reason Ohio State, Michigan, Alabama, Georgia, all these schools offered. How are you different as a wide receiver a year and a half later after making that switch? Because obviously you're probably going to be a go-to guy in this passing game this year.
One thing that I did Monday through Friday, me and Miles Scott and Brian Hightower, sometimes Kamari Thompson, and then we'll wake up at 6 o'clock. And then we'll catch 250 balls off the jug machine. And then we'll come back at 5 p.m. and catch passes from the quarterbacks. So one thing for sure, I'm a better catcher going into next season. Being able to make contested catches. We worked a lot of contested catches on the jug machine. So, like, little stuff like that. One thing I feel like I'm a more polished route runner, but also I kind of know more like behind like how to set up routes. I feel like, and then I understand like the importance of the quarterback and receiver relationship more, like how important it is to have a good relationship with your quarterback and for your quarterback to trust you. But most of all, I feel like I'm more consistent now than what I was, and I'm just ready to show it.
So we know we're not going to get much about this offense before Wyoming, maybe even before the next game after that. So I wanted to ask you a little bit about just like what you've seen so far out of Tommy DeVito, your new quarterback, as well as your new offensive coordinator, Barry Loney. What do they bring to you guys?
They swagger for sure. TD, it's something about him that's unique. Like in the locker room, he can relate to every guy in that room. Every guy in the locker room. everybody. So like he could be talking to O lineman, then you'll see him 5 seconds later talking to a D lineman, and I feel like that's something you need. Everybody believe in him, and I feel like that's because the way he carry himself. He carry himself with a certain type of swagger, confidence, and honestly, we need that. And honestly, it's a reflection of Coach Lunny. Yeah, he bring a different type of swagger and confidence to the room too, and both of them competitors. You see it, we see it at practice. Like we just trying to get after the defense, and you could tell it's because Coach Lunny, like he want to win. He want to win everything, but most of all, both of them want to get better, and that's the constant message. Both like everyday TD, like bro, like we throw, like let's get better today, and then Coach Lunny the same way, like every day we get better. Let's be better game 12 than we were game 1. Let's be better last throwing session compared to the first throwing session, and just the constant progress. I feel like they bring a swagger and some confidence that that's kind of unmatched.
I always think of how hard it must be to be a transfer, especially like Tommy, spending so much time at Syracuse, and like it's like speed dating for you. You got to learn each other. What was it that you guys, or like he can connect with everybody? What did you guys connect on early to kind of build that bridge there and start a relationship?
So actually, I was his host on his recruiting visit, and then after, so we went out to dinner, and after that dinner, we just clicked. I don't know how, but we just clicked, and then we end up like going out with a couple of the fellas, and then like he just connected with everybody, like, and we just kind of, I don't know, it was like, it was just natural. It wasn't forced. It was like we was just talking to each other. I'm like, bro, this a cool dude. And then when he get in the locker room, like it was times 10. I was like, he was cool on his visit. I'm telling like everybody asking me like, how was TD? Like, how was the quarterback that came? I'm like, bro, like it's something about him, bro. He's special, and like he just got a certain like type of swagger to him. And then he had on his outfit. I think that's like, cause I'm big into like shoes, dressing, and he had on some Jordan 11s, and then he had on some chains. He always wearing his chains and jewelry. I'm like, oh, this a cool white dude, man. And then after that, like just talking, I'm like, bro, this a cool dude. Then when he got in the locker room, I'm like, bro, got some swagger to him. Like he different.
So I didn't know a lot of people from New Jersey until I started like talking to him or Art. That's a real thing, right? Like the New Jersey swagger?
Yeah, New Jersey swagger. Like that's a real thing. But it's like they all different. Even Donovan Leary, he got a different type of. It's like I guess it's just like different there. But our swagger and Tommy swagger is different, but they both like it's a little different. You know what I'm saying? Like it's different. They got that swagger to them.
Well, Isaiah, before we let you go, it's like 5 years, 6 years later when the movement started at Trinity Catholic. It's cool to see you, Reggie, obviously here, and Mookie at Mizzou, Marcus at Nebraska, Shamond here. I mean, that was some swagger to call yourselves the movement. Swagger, but, I mean, you guys, coming from St. Louis and accomplishing what you've accomplished so far at the college level, and I know you want to accomplish more, like, looking back, that's pretty cool that worked out. Like, dope. That you guys you guys all came together, did something great at Trinity Catholic, and now what's it like to have you all here at the Division I level, getting college degrees, playing college football? Yeah,
man, it's great. So I'm going to give you like a little backstory. So we all grew up with each other. So we played JFL football with each other, like with Herbert Hoover, U City, like some teams in St. Louis, and we all knew each other. So Coach Corey ended up getting a coaching job at Trinity. Yeah. And it's a school that if you're from St. Louis, nobody knew about Trinity Catholic. Like, if you ask most people, they'd be like, bro, like, I don't know where Trinity is until, like, the last few years. So we all just came together, and we went to a real small school. Nobody in the city really knew about it. They record the year before all of us came. They won, like, 2 games. Then the year before that, I think they won 2 games again. And never really won much. And then we all came together. It was like, bro, we're going to go here. We're just going to have fun. We're going to play for Coach C. And then we just did something special. But we never knew, like it would turn into this when we first went to Trinity. Like I didn't know, honestly, I didn't think I was gonna play Division I football. I was just like, I play football, but I like basketball more honestly. So I was like, I'm gonna be a hooper, bro. Like, I'm just gonna do football for fun. And then I remember it was my birthday, January 29th. I think it was 2016. Coach Corey was like, "You just got your first offer." And then he was like, "Bro, yeah, like basketball done, bro. You're 5'9". And then from that, like it just kind of took off. Like we getting offers every single day, and you know that's thanks to like Coach Corey. Like he worked hard for us, and then you know we just put in the work on the field, and then it turned into something like this, and now we all playing Division I football. And we like when we go back home, we see each other, like we hang out, we talk. You know, I just got done working out with Mookie a couple weeks ago, and man, it was like great to see like his progress, and like all of us, we just keep getting better, and it's like getting better on the field and off the field. Like the person Mookie is today, I'm like, dang, bro, like you really like grew up a lot, like, and you know, it's just exciting to see like where we going. Not as just because honestly, everybody not going to play in the NFL, everybody not going to go to the next level, but as people, like we all growing as people, we all growing. But you know, we all just looking to make plays this next season. If we all do go to the NFL, like, man, that's even doper. Like maybe we need a 30 for 30 or something.
There you go.
But yeah, man, it's been exciting. Like this journey with them guys, how we came together, and it was just like, man, like we kind of, like in our city, we kind of made history. Like and like to still be going, like all of us, as much as like it's great. Because we got guys who went to smaller schools also, like when, you know what I'm saying, like and all of us like still going. We got guys that's, you know, working big time jobs already. You know, we got musicians already. Like, and like honestly, that's all a reflection of like the type of guy Coach Corey is and how, you know, he led us. You know, like he was a great leader, and like you see where we at now.
Yeah, from nobody knowing where it is to Lovie Smith rolling up in a bus for a camp there.
Like
in
the
cool.
middle, like you've been
I've
like
been
in
there,
the middle, like you like most people probably have never seen a school. Like if you're from St. Louis, I never heard of Trinity. Everybody that went there, me, Shaman, Mookie, none of us never heard of Trinity until Coach C got there, of course. Then we like Trinity. Then I went. I'm like, bro, this school is horrible. But I was with my guys. I was with Coach C. I was with my guys. I'm like, bro, we good. We gonna make it happen. Like if we all together, we good. But like just looking at the school, man, nobody's going there. Like, but man, it was a blessing.
Yeah. Well, Isaiah Williams, man, glad to see you. Glad to talk with you. Thank you for your time, and good luck this season. Happy, healthy season. Have a great season, man.
All right, thank you. Have a good one.